Hi, I'm Scott Kelby, editor-in-chief and publisher of Layers Magazine, and I've got a Photoshop tip for you. The tip I've got is one of the most asked things I get. I have people email me all the time that say, what's the trick for getting someone off a background when their hair is kind of like blowing in the wind? How do you not have to chop off all their hair and still make it look realistic? Well, I'm going to show you. There's actually a couple of tricks, but the tool that you're going to use to do this is the extract filter. It's found up here under the filter menu. You're going to go under filter and just choose extract just like this. So bring up the extract filter, and here it is right here. And here's how the extract filter works. The first thing you have to do is you have to tell Photoshop where the edges of the thing that you want to keep are. So you do that using this highlighter tool up here. You start on the edge here, and what I recommend is when it's a well-defined edge like her arm or her clothes, you just want to use a small brush. Nice small brush. Just trace along there. Okay, anything that's kind of well defined, use this small brush, and you're kind of getting some of the background and some of her hair in the same thing. As soon as you come to something like this flyaway hair thing, you're going to want to increase the size of the brush. You can do that by using the left and right bracket keys on your keyboard, and by the way, the bracket keys are found to the right of the letter P on your keyboard, okay? The right bracket key makes your brush larger if you click and hold it. The left bracket key makes it smaller if you click and hold it. So we're going to make it a little bit larger, and we're going to go over that dropout area there. Then you can bring it right back down in size, just like this. When you reach the flyaway stuff, make it big again, go over that, and then right back down. Okay, so we're going to kind of trace around her, and then nice and small over here. There we go. Now, you don't have to cut across here, because her image extends right off the bottom of the page. Okay, so step one is you've told Photoshop this is the edge. Step two is you have to tell Photoshop where the inside is or what you want to keep. You do that by grabbing the paint bucket tool up here in the corner, second tool down, and just click once inside that border. Now the one thing I just want to let you know is if you haven't used this tool before, this green has to connect. So either it has to just go right off the edge of the page like this, or edge of the image, or it has to make a full circle. If not, the blue will spill out into the background and you don't want that. Okay, so once we've done that, we've traced around in green, made a complete circle, or a complete closed, loop, and then we've clicked on the inside to say keep this. Go ahead and click OK. All right, and there's the image. Now, you can say, well, it looks like it did pretty good. I can see some hair up here. I can see some hair over here. Doesn't look bad, but I can also see some areas where it's dropping out. It's just kind of dropping out. Well, it'll help you to see if it's dropping out by actually adding a background to it. You can really see what's dropped out. But I'm going to give you a little tip. If you can instead take the background, and for example, we're going to use this little cloud background. It'll help you out if you can do this. Now, you can't always do this in every situation, but if you can take the background and drag it onto your person image, it helps you out, and you'll see why in just a moment. So I'm going to hold the Shift key, drag this over, and there it is. And then, of course, we'll bring up the Layers palette over here, drag the background behind. Okay, then we'll close the other one. We don't need that anymore, right? Okay. Now, let's take a look at what we've got. So you can see it doesn't look so bad. See, we've got some hair here. We have a little bit of drop out there where her hair is turning kind of gray because it's transparent. And then we have some terrible drop out here where there's actually chunks of her clothes and arm missing. So here's what we can do to fix this. Believe it or not, the first part's the really easy part. Trick number one, go to your person layer and simply duplicate the layer. I know it sounds simple and it sounds too easy to be true, but watch. Duplicate the layer and watch what happens. Look at that. Did you see how it filled in the gaps? Watch. Here's before and after. Look at how her hair comes right back and it fills in those gaps. Watch the gray area here that was kind of transparent and see-through. Look at the hair building up. I mean, it just does a great job. So simply duplicate the layer. Once our duplicated, let's merge these two together so they're back into one layer. You do that by pressing Command E on a Mac or Control E on a PC, and now they're just merged into one layer. That takes the top layer and merges it with the layer directly below it. All right, so now we fixed some of the obvious stuff in her hair, but we still got these big chunks in her arm. Well, here's where it paid off that you dragged the background into her document instead of dragging her onto another document. And that is because you're still working in the same document, you can use the history brush. Now, the history brush is kind of like history. If you take a look at history, go over to history, these are the things that we've done. We opened the photo, we ran extract, we dragged in a new layer, we changed the layer order, we duplicated the layer, we merged down. It keeps track of the last 20 things that you've done. Well, the history brush itself is undo on a brush. So if part of her has been erased over here, I can undo that erasing by just painting right over it, and look, her arm comes right back. Anything missing over here, just paint over it and it immediately comes back. So you have kind of a fix-up tool for anything that looks like it dropped out here. You can just go and paint it right back in. If anything dropped out, instant fix just by painting over it. Now the last thing you have to do is very easy. Grab the eraser tool, get a nice hard edge brush, and there's a little junk left over on the edges, and the technical term for the stuff that's left over is junk. So just kind of get rid of that stuff. That's easy, right? No problem. And you've pretty much got it done. So you've been able to place her on a new background, and you picked up a couple of tricks along the way. Well, there you have it, a little extract trick using the extract filter found in like Photoshop. I think it's been in there since like Photoshop 6 and on up. So if you're using Photoshop today, you've got it. Just look under the filter menu.